so part of during the Eisenhower administration, there was a program called relocation, and so many Native Americans left their tribal centers and went to larger cities, urban areas, and my parents happened to go to LA. And so I was the first son born in 1964, and so my parents were believers at the time that they left, and so it's kind of interesting for me. I always wanted to ask, why did you leave Oklahoma? And neither one of you had a high school education, but just talking to different people, and never asked them the question, but talking to different people, different relatives, they wanted something better for their children. Because it wasn't happening in Oklahoma, and they were just a little displeased with, I guess, with tribal life for them. They were both part of different communities, and so it was a little difficult. But they wanted something different, I think. And so my mother actually did not read, but she learned how to read by reading that Bible over there, that large Bible on the end. So that's how she learned how to read. And so a wonderful woman of faith. And then later on, my dad became a minister. And but as Native people, we had the opportunity to travel to a lot of different communities, from California, New Mexico. And my dad was a preacher, and so he took a pastorate on the Standing Rock Reservation, where we just heard they had the water issues, and so we lived up there for a few years. And I went to school with some of Sitting Bull's great-great-grandchildren and relatives. So very different. So we've had a different opportunity to see many Native American communities all across Canada and the United States. And within those communities, there is a Christian atmosphere. Not always very big, but there is one. And so it has spread even beyond the state line of Oklahoma, where in Oklahoma there are a lot of Christians. Outside it, not as many, but there still is some. But so my work really involves a lot of that interweaving of community, of faith, of tribes, and experiences. And so that's what you see in a lot of the printmaking, is that you see multiple applications of printmaking that kind of speak to that interweaving. Not always understanding what's going on, but always knowing that God always has something in mind. I think even people who don't necessarily believe in Him, there's still something there that they are part of His creation, and He wants to have a way to speak to them. But how is He going to do that without interacting with them? And so a lot of my work is very colorful. I love being outdoors. I love getting out in a kayak and floating down the river, looking at nature, and just seeing all these interactions of materials, of growth, of rock formation, and then incorporate some of those things into my artwork. Then also the big colorful pieces on the ends here are part of a series I call Transformation. And so I'm looking at the butterflies and different moths and flying insects that travel through Oklahoma that go through a metamorphosis process. And so those pieces deal with the process of metamorphosis and how we as human beings can look at nature and see the possibilities of change. A lot of times we look at it on the outside, but the scripture talks about God works from the inside out. And so that has always been very important to me in my work. But so we all three have very different kind of backgrounds and understandings. And so I really look at the scriptures and look and see how God has interacted over time, over place, over space, and in different cultures to bring us all together. And so that's what a lot of what this exhibition is about being reconciled to God so that we can respond the way that He wants us to humanity. And if we could do that and learn to do that, even better, wouldn't humanity be so much better off? And that's what this is about.